Well, preparations for departure in the direction of Portsmouth are going really well. And just as I was getting ready to leave Leanne and Greg's, where I stayed last night, I realised that my shades were on the garage floor, and I guess when I parked the bike I dropped them on the floor and broke them or stepped on them or something. So I feel like if there's a way that I can get another pair, that I will do that. And I know I've got a spare somewhere. It's just a question of where, because obviously I took all of my stuff out of the woods. That's where they used to be kept. And I'm going to use what's left of today and tomorrow to find these glasses. So I'm now heading back west. And I checked in Grandma's garage, where you saw me leave a bunch of stuff in the last video. If I'd found them there, then I would have been able to turn back and start heading back the other way. They weren't there, and so that means that they've got to be at Mum and Dad's place, right, which is Dorchester. So I'm going to stay in Dorchester tonight. That's something I've got to mention. Then I'm going to turn back around. Obviously, I took all of my camping gear off the bike, the tent, the sleeping bags, all of that stuff. I'm basically as light as I ever get right now, just to make things a little bit easier. But it's good, you know, it's a warm-up. It's just a bit of a warm-up ride. But the bike's going really well. I feel pretty energetic, pretty strong. And you know, even though I've been riding into a headwind all day, it's actually a really nice day. You may remember I did a video recently with a guy called Craig, another mountain biker. We met at sunrise on top of Maiden Castle. Well, he emailed me a few days ago and said that he'd left me a little gift somewhere in this park right here. So I've got to try and find it. He said that there was a bench between the tennis courts. There's one tennis court there and one there. So I'm guessing it could be this bench here. I think what he said is it was just under the soil on the pot to the left. So I knew I'd forget this, so what I did last night is I put a reminder on my desktop. It says CBD, so I won't forget it. And in my note file here, I literally copied his message. So there's a bench facing the tennis court with the bowling green behind you. Well, it's a bit fucked up because I think they're both tennis courts. And he says it's in the pot to the right, so I'm going to assume that's got nets on it. That's a tennis court, right? So I reckon in here there's a little bottle of CBD oil somewhere under the soil, he says. Oh, I thought that was it. It's a stone. All I'm finding is bulbs right now. So plan B is that he was talking about the other right facing the other tennis courts. Maybe that's a bowling green there, and this is a tennis court. Let's try this one. Hello there. Maybe that squirrel's nicked it. Right, it's no good. So, sorry Craig, I had a good look around in both the flower pots in what I believe is the correct area. I'm pretty sure this is the only bench in between the... I mean, there isn't really a bowling green here, it's just two tennis courts. That's what's confusing me right now. I'll have another look around, see if there is a bowling green, but I'm pretty sure this is what he means. So, you know, if you haven't already been back and reclaimed it, my friend, it's going to be back in there. Either that or the gardening staff have got to it. Morning, gents. Is there a bowling green in this park or just tennis courts?
Just tennis courts, yeah.
Okay, was there ever a bowling green here?
Yeah.
This used to be? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Take care. Wow, that's disappointing. So I searched both pots pretty thoroughly, but you know, unfortunately couldn't find the CBD. Good morning, I'm back.
You're back. How are you doing?
Yeah, all right. And you?
What do you think? Do you think it's globe?
I'm extremely skeptical because I've looked at videos, I've looked at pictures from various altitudes, and it's like the question is, how high do you have to be to see the curve of an 8,000 mile diameter sphere?
In Isaiah, where it talks about the earth, it's a circle
Yeah.
hanging on nothing.
Ah, really? Really?
Yeah. Can you find that scripture?
Hey, I'd be interested to see that, yeah.
We can see the moon and we can see that is cloudish.
Yeah.
See the sun.
Yeah.
naked eye.
Yeah.
So it makes sense the sun is round.
Yeah.
And we would be round as well.
But the moon and the sun have a lot in common with each other. Earth has literally nothing in common with the moon and the sun.
The moon just reflects light though, doesn't it? It doesn't.
So they tell us.
Luminary
So they tell
for
us.
the night and the luminary for the day.
Yeah.
As the scriptures say it.
Yeah.
It's Isaiah.
Book of Isaiah. There is one who dwells above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers. He is stretching out the heavens like a fine gauze, and he spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. Here's a question for you about the atmosphere. It's opaque during the day, right? It's blue, you can't see through it, but at night it's perfectly clear because there's no direct sunlight shining on it.
Yeah.
So when you see pictures from the ISS, which is in the very upper atmosphere, it's like on the edge of what they call space, and they're looking down at the daylight side of the earth, the lit side of the earth, why can they see through the atmosphere? Why isn't the atmosphere opaque?
It's the water in the atmosphere that makes it opaque.
Yeah, but why does it only work one way? Is it like a one-way window, like a, you know, like a one-way glass?
Yeah. Because the Earth isn't emitting any light.
See, when I think of what the Earth looks like from space, I can see every continent, every cloud formation, every coastline, because it's always a really nice, clear picture when it's sunlit. But I think what it should look like an opaque marble. It should look like a swirling mass of blue, opaque atmosphere, just like we see from inside.
But like James says, maybe because the light is behind you from space instead of in front of you from there.
Yeah, it could be. You guys are way more open to this stuff than most people I question about this kind of thing. They're just like, what are you saying? They faked the moon landings, get out of here. I got to Mum and Dad's yesterday evening, and as I suspected, Dad's already transported my stuff to his yard, to like a warehouse. So this morning, I'm riding north out of Dorchester, and hopefully I'm going to find my glasses because this is just unacceptable. This doesn't stay on my face anymore. And then I've worked out a route that I can get back to Poole. By the end of the day, I should have my glasses, I should have all the camping gear back on board, and I will have covered around 50 miles. But that's only what I'm going to be doing every day in France, so we'll call this a warm-up. And this apparently is where my stuff is. Well, I searched through all of that gear twice, every box, every bag inside a box, and they weren't there, which really confuses me. What might be confusing you is what the hell have I got on my face? This is a pair of shades very similar to mine that Dad's lent me for the ride. As it happens, I'm going right back past my old place, the woods, so I'm going to stop in there, and maybe by some bizarre coincidence I left them there. I'm not holding too much hope for that, but that's what I'm going to do now. Well, I've never been this way before, and it doesn't exactly match what I got on the map. So I've decided if that's a golf course, it's probably not where I want to go, so I'm going up here. See, I'm glad I came this way now. It's a bit harder going than it would be on the tarmac, on the road, and if I had all my camping gear on board, I'd be going at a snail's pace. I mean, there's no way you'd want to do 50 miles of this in a day, not with all this gear on board, but a little bit of this every now and then, holy shit, just breaks up the monotony of the road. Wow. Feels like a trip back in time as well, doesn't it? Because at one time, this is what every road in England was like. All right, I'm lost now. But what a delightful place to be lost. Footpath. Rightio. Hang on a second. It is the footpath, but is it what I'm aiming for? Okay, let's figure this out again. So I don't really want to change direction according to this map, but I do need to get across this field because the exit is right over there where that farm is. So I've just got to figure out if it's above or below the farm. Made it to the top. It's the right move to not go across the field because the exit is above the little farm. There you go, everything I've been climbing off-road for the last half hour, I've now descended it in about 30 seconds on the tarmac. So, those who've been watching recently might recognise this bridge. It's just over there is the place where we said goodbye to Ed, who was on an episode of My Frequencies not so long ago. Back in the woods one last final time. So just as I was getting close to arriving back here, maybe a quarter of a mile ago, just as I was riding through the forest, I remembered taking those glasses in their case out of this place, taking it to Dorchester, to Mum and Dad's, because I'd broken my previous pair, and the pair that I've just broken yesterday was my spare set. I've remembered that whole story. Something in my memory had kind of blanked that from me, so I couldn't remember it. And because that memory couldn't be accessed yesterday, it has meant that I've returned to all these locations. So yesterday I went to Grandma's and Mum and Dad's, and today I've come back here. Yeah, see, this is what I've got here. This is not even the right sunglasses case, and that's empty, as you can see. I know they're not here. But yeah, something wanted me to come back and just have one last little look at the place. How strange how the mind works like that. It's such a clear memory now. Such a clear memory.
To Dorchester.
I've been on a mad mission, I have, yeah.
We got home and of course Greg saw your big bag.
Yeah.
And he said, was you meant to leave that? And I said, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, the black kit bag, right? Yeah.
And then we saw your pannier and he went,
yeah. Can you imagine that if I set off without my pannier? But then if you'd come in here and looked in the garage, you'd have seen, oh my God, he's left without his tent, his sleeping bags, his cooking setup.
Well, we hadn't been in here, so I opened up your pannier then to see how valuable the stuff was in there. And I went, no, he's got his knife and fork in here. And they were like, what, is that really important? I said, yeah, it's really important. He can't eat without these, and his cup, and this, and that. And then Greg said, yeah, you can stop rummaging through there now, Leanne. And all your euros. I went, all his chips.
Oh, that's right, yeah,
He won't be able to buy anything for food when he's on his bike.
That's it. It's a load of coins in a glasses case, isn't it? It's probably about €5 or €6 in there. I'll need that. That's going to feed me all the way to Avalon. So yes, I believe that's the first time Leanne's appeared on my channel. She is one of my best friends, and she's basically who I lived with, she and her husband Greg, for 2 years before going out to the woods. And you know, with the notable exception of my parents, I think Leanne and Greg are the only people who I left living with them without some kind of fallout, some kind of, you know, drama that made me feel like I had to leave. So I'm just so grateful to have people like that in my life. Yeah, so like Leanne was saying, I left the pannier indoors, then I've got all of this stuff here, so I'm going to strap all of this to the bike, get it all sorted out, charge up my cameras because I've gone through a couple of batteries today, take a breather, eat some more bananas, and you know, I don't feel too bad actually. You know, again, my shins are a little bit stiff, maybe a little bit achy, but assuming that's the correct time, it doesn't mean anything really. As long as I'm in Portsmouth by 11 PM tomorrow night, that's 40 miles from Dan. So yeah, I'll pack the bike, take 5, and then we'll do another 12, and hopefully I'll get to Wayward territory by about nightfall. This is the final entry of this vlog today. I'm at the Norseman's land. He's got the Norseman, I haven't called him that for ages. Raoul Dan, Wayward Territory, he's called on YouTube now. He's doubled the size of the shed. What's in here? All right. So the tool shed, on this bit, and back here is the toilet. It's done a great job. Oh, and the weapons. So yeah, if you made it this far, great job. It was a fucking epic journey for me, and probably quite an epic journey for anyone who watched the entire thing. I did 50 miles, that was what we did today, 50 miles. The last 12 were heavily loaded, fully loaded in fact, with everything I'm going to be carrying. So nice little warm up. Tomorrow it's going to be a long, easy day. I've got from sunrise until 11 PM, that's when the boat leaves Portsmouth, and I've got only 40 miles to do, so that's going to be easy. Then we'll have a shower and a nice sleep on the boat. So I'm going to say that the journey has begun already. The last 12 miles fully loaded, that was the start of the journey. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to get some food and set my tent up and probably get a really good night's sleep, I would imagine.